Tim Prister with Tim O'Malley outside the Goog after Brian Kelly's introductory press conference for Notre Dame Wake Forest this weekend. The big emphasis, I guess, Tim, was the tempo that Wake Forest runs. They had 105 plays last week. And the last thing that Notre Dame needs to hear about is the defense being on the field a little bit more. But if you saw Wake Forest play against Boston College and have seen them play against Notre Dame as well, tempo is something that they really, really do. And they do it more with a freshman quarterback. Last year with John Wolford, they wanted to think about it and let him make decisions at the line of scrimmage. Now with a freshman, they're going to play at a fast pace.
I'll take the tempo over John Wolford.
Yes.
Because and Brian Kelly, you asked the question, Brian Kelly admitted it. Yeah, it's a little different without him out there. Look, tempo can really, in a close game in the South, if it's going to be humid, if you're hitting around start of the fourth quarter and you're playing your linebackers 95 plays, tempo's going to take its toll. They rotate very well on the defensive line. It's going to have to be hockey shifts because you can't get them in against tempo. But a lot of teams play tempo. Kelly pointed out the weakness of it is not a lot of adjustments at the line either. So it's a little bit more simplified. I think Notre Dame's defense will handle it unless they approach it with Coney and Tranquil and those guys playing just the lion's share of snaps.
Right. When pressed further, it's about a 30-minute press conference. And near the end of it, when he was asked another question about tempo and preserving players and Coney and Tranquil, he finally said, look, they're young. And I get that part, but man, when you're playing 97 snaps, and you said you saw when rewatching the game that Tavon Coney was really gassed at a certain point in the fourth quarter.
I think they have to find a way to get them some rest. I haven't noticed it in Tranquil, but I mean, eventually he's on special teams too. He's human. This is like you put the point. Young, you're not invulnerable to these things. I mean, there's a reason you rotated other positions. Julian Love and Troy Pride are playing a lot. Love is
and you're getting banged around a little bit out there too.
Yeah, Love is their best nickel right now. I mean, he switched to nickel because they needed it. Greg Dortch is the slot receiver at Wake Forest. They're going to need Love at nickel. He may not get a rest. It's going to challenge them. But I thought it was also interesting that Brian Kelly talked about how tempo can work against Notre Dame's offense because sometimes that's just not what they do best, even though they practice it all the time, and he wants it to be what they do best.
They don't play tempo well. I mean, Wake Forest really, really does it well. Notre Dame doesn't. Usually we see it when they come out in the first series of the game. So, and Brian Kelly even said that that's not the way to respond to it. You got to do what you do. They need to put together some drives. The offensive line needs to play well again. It won't necessarily be the physical matchup that they had against Vanderbilt. He compared the offensive line's challenge this week to what they faced against Ball State because of all the movement. That's not necessarily a good thing for Notre Dame right now.
Yeah, I think that's relevant because I charted 40 plays for Notre Dame's offense that have gained over 10 yards, which is good, but 66 have gained 2 yards or less. Now, add to that, 34, 35 incomplete passes. You got 100 plays going nowhere. Defenses that are going to be shooting gaps, that is going to continue that trend where Notre Dame is going to have to overcome some stuffs. And the only way to do that is, of course, with big plays, but that probably explains why Notre Dame's third down conversions are at issue. There's a lot of 3rd and 8s, and I think that's a tough recipe on the road.
Yeah, we focus on the negatives with Notre Dame, but the fact of the matter is Wake Forest has given up a whole bunch of big plays and a whole lot of yardage. So it'll be a challenge for Notre Dame to get the passing game rolling. Obviously, you want to pick up where you left off with Tony Jones and Jafar Armstrong before Dexter Williams comes back. But there are some opportunities downfield against Wake Forest as well. So we will we'll talk more about this as the week progresses, as Notre Dame prepares for Wake Forest.